This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. The Armenian Apostolic Church's Supreme Spiritual Council accused Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan yesterday of launching a politically motivated campaign to undermine the church. Church leaders said the Prime Minister had crossed legal and moral lines, using profane and disrespectful language that threatens national unity. According to the Council's statement, the Prime Minister has once again launched an offensive against the Holy Armenian Apostolic Church, using language and accusations that are unbecoming of a public official. They said his rhetoric violates norms of civil discourse and deeply offends the religious sentiments of the faithful, claiming the government is trying to silence the church and weaken its influence both at home and in the diaspora. The conflict escalated last week when Pashinyan and his wife accused certain clergy, including Catholicos Karakin II, of violating celibacy vows. Pashinyan even said that, if true, Karakin could not remain as head of the church, though no evidence was provided. In response, the church warned against dragging it into political battles and stressed that its affairs are governed by canon law and thus not subject to political authority. It also accused the government of playing into the hands of anti-Armenian forces by echoing Azerbaijani disinformation. Pashinyan replied this morning on Facebook by again demanding the church immediately reveal whether the Catholicos has broken his celibacy vow and has a child. Tensions between the church and the government have been growing since at least Armenia's 2020 defeat in the Karabakh War, after which the church called for Pashinyan's resignation. Still, according to public polling, the church remains Armenia's most trusted institution, far ahead of political parties and state bodies. A new investigation has revealed that Azerbaijan has cut down at least 60 hectares of forest inside Armenia's Shikahogh State Reserve, one of the country's most ecologically significant protected areas. The report, published by the outlet Hetk, showed satellite images from 2023 revealing deforestation and road construction inside the reserve. The area is officially off-limits to development under Armenian law, but Azerbaijan has used the space, which it has occupied after launching armed attacks in recent years, to build military roads and fortifications along the border. The 12,000-hectare Shikahogh Reserve is a critical biodiversity hotspot, home to hundreds of endangered species and 94% covered by virgin forest. According to Global Forest Watch, Armenia lost 88 hectares of forest in 2023 alone, most of it in this sensitive region. Hetk's journalists say Armenian authorities offered little cooperation with their investigation. The Environment Ministry claimed it couldn't provide data, citing the area's exposure to Azerbaijani fire. Officials from the Deputy Prime Minister's office also declined to address the situation directly. Azerbaijan has attempted to greenwash its reputation as an environmental protector, such as through its hosting of the COP29 climate change conference last year, while it is suing Armenia in international courts on allegations of environmental destruction. A Russian Federal Inspection Agency announced yesterday that it will impose a temporary ban on flour imports from Armenia starting June 16th. Due to alleged repeated detections of quarantine pests in shipments. Armenia exported 52 million flowers to Russia this year so far, a 50% surge compared to the same period last year. As the volume of floral exports has grown, so too has the frequency of quarantine pest detections, the agency said in a statement. It also expressed concerns over what it described as Armenia's ineffective plant health inspection system, which it says has contributed to growing phytosanitary risks. Armenian authorities have been urged to implement immediate measures to tighten export controls. The agency warned that if the situation is not brought under control and further cases of infestation are recorded, Russia will suspend all floral imports from Armenia. According to trade data, total exports from Armenia's floriculture industry to Russia amounted to $6.6 million in the first half of last year. Experts have long argued that Russia uses import restrictions on Armenian grain and other foreign goods as a tool of political leverage. Armenian agriculture exports, particularly food products, have faced recurring bans in recent years. Most recently, last July, Russia reported 98 cases of pesticide and agriculture chemical residues exceeding permissible levels in Armenian fruit and vegetables, prompting a suspension of shipments. Restrictions were eventually lifted for some Armenian exporting companies that met Russia's standards. Meanwhile, Georgia continues an unprecedented weeks-long holdup of Armenian alcoholic exports to Russia for what it says are quality tests, even though the goods will not be sold in Georgia. Check out our interview with Tim Jamal, president of the nonpartisan advocacy group Global Arm out of Washington, D.C. Jamal discusses reversing the anti-Armenian narratives promoted by Azerbaijan's big-dollar lobbyists and engaging with the Trump administration on strengthening U.S.-Armenia ties, which in turn will enhance Armenia's security and sovereignty. Find a link to the broadcast in this video's description. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 4. That's the number of medals Armenia claimed at the 2025 European Gymnastics Championships this past weekend in Leipzig, Germany. Besides Artur Davtyan's gold medal vault, which we profiled yesterday, and Artur Avedissian's bronze on the rings, Armenia went 1-2 in the pommel horse competition. At just 17 years old, gold medalist Hamlet Manukyan was the youngest competitor at the championships, while 18-year-old Mamikon Khachaturian took silver just behind him. They represent the up-and-coming crop of Armenian gymnastic talent, part of a renaissance sparked by Davtyan's bronze medal Olympic win at the Summer Olympics in 2021. Armenia tied Great Britain for the most medals won in Leipzig for the men's division, and came in 4th overall. And as always, keep following CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.